much for joining us for our Business Resiliency series. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Mariana.
And we are very excited to be joined with Krystina from A Drop in the Ocean. So to get us started, would you provide us with a brief overview of A Drop in the Ocean?
Drop in the Ocean is Tacoma's first zero waste and sustainable living boutique. We offer refillable and sustainable alternatives to everyday disposable items, both through in-person options, typically at things like the night markets and pop-ups around Tacoma, and also in our online shop. And we offer both one-time purchases and subscription options. For example, rather than consciously having to think about going to the store to buy shampoo every month or so, you can subscribe, save a little bit of money, and then never have to worry about buying it again. It will just automatically show up at your doorstep at whatever interval you choose, which is super handy. And we are based in Tacoma, but we do offer shipping all around the country, including our refill options.
In addition to the unique products that you offer, you have a really unique business model and commitment to the community.
Although we call ourselves a zero waste shop, we really strive to be so much more. Our vision is actually a sustainable future for all living things, and our mission is to use business as a force for good. So there's not really zero waste anywhere in our vision or our mission. We really just want to create a healthier planet, both for the planet and for ourselves. With every purchase, we plant 10 trees through an organization called Trees for the Future, which does all of their tree planting in sub-Saharan Africa and works with local community members there. The participants not only are planting trees, but by doing so, they're also earning an income. So again, it's not only benefiting the planet, but it's also benefiting underserved communities. We also donate at least 1% of all of our sales to ocean conservation through an organization called Resiliency Institute. We just launched in 2019. We planted over 13,000 trees and donated $855 to ocean conservation. We just advocate for doing what you can, when you can, where you can, and showing how those impacts do add up.
Congratulations. That's got to feel really good too, right? Because I know when you start with these goals of like how you're going to give back, we don't always see like what it's going to look like. So how does it feel to be having that kind of impact right now?
It feels incredible. I currently do a lot of bookkeeping by hand. I see with every purchase how many trees we're planting and how much we're donating to ocean conservation. And it's my favorite part of the shop is really the donation part of it.
What's powerful about that is because of your commitment to these causes and to your mission, you help people in their everyday normal lives, right? Like I'm buying shampoo and I'm planting trees.
It gives me the warm and fuzzies.
So our series is on resiliency. How would you define resiliency?
Staying true to your core values and your core mission in a way that you are able to connect so deeply with your customers and with your community that you're able to continue to grow and thrive long term, no matter what comes at you, because you're so rooted in your core values. Obviously, if you're in business, you want to earn an income and earn a living wage, but I think there's so much more to business ownership, and I think that resiliency can really come from being very rooted in you and your values.
I love that. I think it makes you a lot more adaptable too, right? Like if you know who you are and what you're doing when you're confronted with challenges, you are operating from such like a strong place and ideally taking a lot of your customers with you, maybe in a slightly new direction, but you're so true to like your mission and your values that you can make that pivot and still be okay.
Absolutely. I did have this blog post and an email about resiliency and mangroves, and I think that really speaks to what you were just saying. I was in Baja at Resiliency Institute in 2017, and we were on this hike. It was for grad school, so we came to a mangrove forest, and one of the girls in our class got really excited, and she couldn't wait to tell us about what she had learned about mangroves. She's talking about all of these things about mangroves, and the one that really stuck out to me was that when mangroves are unrestricted, they will continue to grow outward. Their forest basically becomes larger. But when they are restricted, such as if they are up against a mountainside, they will instead grow taller. rather than growing out, they grow up. I was kind of blown away by this, that like a plant could be so adaptable that it can grow out or up, whatever suits it best. And so then that night I went back and I wrote in my journal, like, I learned this really cool thing about mangroves today. But then at the end of the trip, we had to submit our journals to our instructors to review. I got my journal back, and in that entry, my instructor had written, so how do we be more like mangroves? It was just such a powerful question. If we're so used to growing out, but then something happens and we're up against the mountainside, we can't grow out anymore. How can we adapt and grow taller and grow stronger, rather than just growing larger? Kind of helped me shift focus a little bit. The environment that we're in right now is scary, and it's overwhelming, and there's a lot going on, but how can we find ways to build up ourselves and our communities and our businesses so that we come out of this taller and thriving?
And I think recognizing that interdependency, right? That when communities do well, our businesses do well, ideally also the environment is doing well or better. Especially when we're in crisis, we get super siloed and focused on what we're doing. So I think having that a wider lens, and then that thought of like, how to be more like mangrove in this situation.
I also love the idea of taking this current situation, viewing it like, okay, I'm up against a mountain now. And instead of feeling trapped and stuck, how can I push through and grow vertically? So with the idea of like, how do I end this with being tall and strong? What would be your like top 2 tips for building a resilient business?
So I would say the first one, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but staying true to you and your core values, I think is really powerful. Don't lose sight of that. And the other thing that I've learned along those same lines during this time is to allow yourself to be vulnerable. I think that that's really, really powerful for creating a stronger community. Just allowing yourself to be vulnerable about what's going on. So that would be my first one. My second one is to lead with empathy and compassion. Show up for your people and just provide great value and resources. This is a tough time. There are always going to be people that are in a tough time. How can you continue to show up for those people, even if maybe they can't at the time afford your services or your products or whatever it might be? Show up for them. Have empathy, have compassion, and I really do believe that beautiful things can come out of that, and it can create a stronger community, a stronger business foundation, and just a stronger planetary community. As cheesy as it sounds.
It is like emotional and it's powerful and it is really inspiring. I find myself doing it too. Like once you start talking about it, you're like, is this like too gushy or too like, we're all going to be happy and save the world together. But I think there is a lot of beauty in systems and interdependence and what happens when we do good things to do good things, and maybe not seeing the good things that come back to us until later, because we're feeding positivity into the system.
That's part of creating change, right? If you don't have the people that have this cheesy vision of the world that like we can all be happy and comfortable, and how do you move that direction if nobody has that vision, even though it might be a little bit unrealistic right now? You need that big vision to have something to work towards.
I love that you brought up like that change piece. There's like 3 main pieces: head, the heart, and the hands. And that heart piece, I think sometimes it can get looked over as being too touchy-feely or too optimistic, but it's essential. Like if you don't have that piece, and that makes me think of when you were talking about the values, right? Like those values guiding you, then you are not going to effectively navigate the situation or navigate it in the level that you could be.
And I think that people can tell too. We intuitively know when someone is being authentic and really, saying what they mean and meaning what they say.
Was there anything else that you wanted to add?
I don't think so. This was like quick, but like deep.
Well, thank you so much, Krystina.
Always happy to chat.